Hello, all of you delightful beings out there, and welcome to the stream. I am Razim, and this is Data Anomaly Hunter's Scar. Season 2, Episode 3, All Roads Lead to Home. This is one of our Digimon tabletop RPG campaigns being run with our custom Scar system, or Stories and Creatures in Alternate Realities. This system is available for open playtest on our Discord as well as on itch.io, so take a look at it, let us know what you think. But for now, we are going to go ahead and get started with introductions. First off, we are joined here today by Conrad doing art. He's working on a 3D model. And now I'll turn it over to Zerta, who will be running it.
Hi, I'm Zoda the Storyteller. I'm a little bit loopy tonight, but I think that'll just have some fun situations to be had. The party has managed to split themselves, and I am going to take full advantage of the situation. What could possibly go wrong? Folger.
Hi, I'm Gimund, and I'm playing Folger, who is a electric basic hair spawn. Basically, oh great, still work in progress because I'm still sick too, a little bit. You know what? On to Asher.
Hello everybody, I am Razim, and I am playing as Asher, the Labramon, God of Death, Lord of Evil, and, Overlord of all. Yes. I am also sick, so, you know, we'll see how this goes. But off to the minion.
Hello y'all, I'm IDDoThings, or Ido if you prefer, and I'll be playing Haboku, the necrotic fire Lugamon, and currently in a very interesting state of living, and not very good at remembering things, trying to be better at that, and tries to be a good minion, even if he isn't sure what that means. On to the Jace.
Hello, my name's Drunk Dragonair. I'm going to be playing Jace, the Black Gillimon X that is Shadow Necrotic type, and I am experiencing random bouts of vertigo recently, so I'm sorry in advance. And on to Kotora.
Hello, everybody. I'm Raharu, and I'll be playing Kotora, the mythic fire type Gabumon. And at the moment, I'm about to try and chase Asher and Haboku, even though he probably can't catch up to them. On to you, Tal.
Hello, I am Taldirus, and I will be playing Rhiv, the mythic water-type Vorvamon, who is sitting at 12 exhaustion and is kind of half useless.
And at the moment, taking a piggyback right from his brother.
Yep.
Alright, and for the recap, we'll go ahead and turn it over to Folger.
They're sick. They're sick. And
Okay,
what else
fine.
to do it?
Go ahead, Era.
Sorry, just doing a pill really quickly. If I recall correctly, we opened the session with Fulgur upstairs, Kotora sitting with... No, we started actually with Jace finally getting to meet Fulgur and having a conversation with them, Haboku going over and meeting Asher, which was interesting and a little bit slow. But eventually Haboku goes back to the table and hangs out with Kotora and Rhiv. And Jace and Asher Jace makes his way downstairs first to go ahead and get himself mentally prepared for the insanity that's about to go on.
Generous bestowal.
As expected.
Gimund _ tipped $10. Tradition from the sick void.
Thank you for the tip, Gimund. That is the first tier of the tip goal completed.
Asher decides to go downstairs to get everything prepped. Jace goes back upstairs to make sure everything's okay, where Rhiv, I believe, found out about the whole experience about to happen and decides to tag along with the two, the two while they go downstairs to deal with things. I believe Kotora goes about cooking, especially for Fulgur, who hasn't eaten yet today, and Haboku, who also needs to eat. And in a weird turn of events, the moment that we about to start the procedure, Jace's arm apparently starts to download some data from some mysterious cloud and going ballistic. Rhiv got all his exhaustion up because he was busy freezing everything in place. Jace remained strapped to the table. Asher managed to absorb the arm. Woo! Arm.
A generous bestowal.
IDDoThings tipped $10 off sleepy tradition off.
Thank you for the tip as well, Ido.
Arm successfully removed and technically dealt with for now. Unfortunately, it kind of ripped itself off instead of it being amputated. So, you? Better gone? Well, Rhiv needs to go upstairs and be put to bed. And Kotora is going to take care of that. Fulgur goes back to the room, and Asher starts packing up all his stuff while Jace is trying to lay down to rest, asking his son to not just, run off and deal with something, being, mysterious about his intents and not saying anything before dipping out, sending Haboku after him. And then Kotora picks up Rhiv to follow after Jace and Fulgur staying behind, because Jace ain't running after, massive procedure. That ended badly. And Fulgur because Fulgur. I believe that covers all the bases from last session.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
A generous bestowal.
Tradition, of course.
Raharu 95 tipped $10. Broom broom.
Thank you for the tip as well, Raharu.
It was a little bit of a shorter session last time, and yeah, that was about it. We got to have a little combat. The children got scarred a little bit, but outside of that,
Hey, look, trauma normally costs an arm and a leg, and I'm a great salesman, so it only cost me an arm.
Good one.
and the arm puns are going to continue.
The puns will continue until morale improves.
Do you really think they will ever stop?
We can and so we're gonna start. Technically, since it was everyone else following after, I want to first just check in with only because they are currently in a still position. I want to check in with Jace and Fulgur first. Because everyone else is gonna go crazy doing all their stuff.
I have full intents to lay down. I don't know about Fulgur.
What you doing, Fulgur?
Well, I think he's just continuing to look through his bag and stuff.
Okay. In that case, Asher and Haboku, you have taken the lead. Others have followed behind, though they have not gonna be anywhere close to you for a while. Where would you like to be headed?
Well, they won't be anywhere near until I decide to stop.
Exactly. You got Haboku and Asher, and the other has a extremely tired Rhiv. So where would you like to head, Asher?
First stop. What kind of shops are around town?
Within this world itself, a lot of it is general touristy stuff. But due to the fact that it also has a lot of the inns, most of the food is kept within the inns, and there's a few groceries from mostly local kind of farmer market style. There is a few bits of odds trinkets. Imagine it more like a bunch of stalls along the sides of the roads leading up in that main district up and down through town. So a lot of it is stalls selling almost anything you can think of that someone else might buy. But in terms of metal shops themselves, There is smaller metal shops, though none that would be like huge blacksmiths, as most of the trinkets and stuff come from the city itself. But there is very small blacksmithing. There is wood production as well, as they do try to keep a lot of the buildings also having wooden themes to them as well. So you would have wood, kind of lumber style, kind of antique wood kind of style, metal working, and even a few like clay kind of stores as well, kind of like that clay kiln kind of fiery stores. And a lot of exotic trinkets and such.
He would go for metals.
Okay. Let's see here. Then if you go to the there's going to be it was mostly closed down temporarily with the essentially all the stuff happening in town, but as the town has been restored, you see what, like I said before, was a bunch of shops that seemed to be closed when you came into town. With the town being restored, it was a change overnight. Every single business person in town trying to essentially open up their store first to have all the new tourism that's going to come from essentially a town that is now essentially a heroed town. And almost every single shop is just fully open and back in stock. There is going to be a shop. It is called the Steel Hammer. And you would approach that first off. And you see a few different Digimon on the inside and outside. Some of them see there is a weapons rack on the outside displaying a lot of the goods. You can tell that it looks like it was freshly polished, and it definitely looks very decorative on the outside. And you see a various assortment of weapons and like steel laden objects on the outside.
I'm assuming we've stopped now.
Yes. Asher is going to be perusing the offerings here. He is gonna take some, basically some, he's gonna be going for several bars, but
Okay.
otherwise he's also looking for a variety of screws and things like that.
As you look on the outside of the store, most you wouldn't find any of that on the outside. The outside seems to be more displaying various weapons of the like, and essentially more of the kind of flashier, showier stuff. And as you do kind of pass by the essentially display racks, you do notice that there was little tiny bands, essentially holding any kind of swords and the like inside their scabbard, as well as attached to the post that it is essentially there just to prevent any potential theft. But as you would make your way inside, you'd see a variety of different Digimon from various different regions. Not too much yet, as the main population hasn't really understood the word, but you go inside and you see what looks to be a almost cyber looking almost some kind of cyber looking Digimon. It is a Arbormon, is a cyborg Digimon who also seems to have a attachment to steel. It is almost daring, you would say, considering most of their body seems to be what was once wood. You notice that their body seems to have been replaced by steel parts here and there, almost as if they have almost made themselves even more of a cyborg than they already are. And you see them almost with you can't really tell an expression across their face without having much of a look at them, but you can almost sense a friendlier, essentially a friendlier vibe from them as they seem to be showing off various things inside the store. You would see a few display tables on the inside, featuring various steels, as well as a few lower common metals, as well as even one or two kind of more the expensive, but the expensive ingots are definitely behind locked display cases instead of being more out in the open.
He is very intrigued by the swords and is getting some ideas.
Azure, where are we going? Also, do you know what grounded means? Because Jace told me to tell you were.
Oh, yeah, I know what grounded means. It's okay. I'll be fine. Especially after this.
Oh, okay. What is this?
Now that is a secret. But we're getting ready.
So is it like a surprise?
Yeah. A surprise, yeah.
Okay, Haboku's tail is wagging.
You see the Albumon as they kind of seem to be finishing up a showmanship. You hear a little ding coming from the counter. You realize that a sale has just been made, and with a quick snip of the scabbard or the scabbard's like little band holding it shut, you see another Digimon pull out a very fanciful claymore-looking sword. And as they look at it, it looks very, very ornate. You can almost tell it looks like it's a little bit more decorative than it is functional, but you can't really tell if the Digimon notices it, as they just seem so proud of the claymore. So as they begin to kind of gawk over it, they exchange a quick hands of thanks, and you see them essentially walk out of the store with the claymore. As you see the Albumon come over to you guys. Hello, hello. I am Soda. What can I help you with in my shop?
Yes, I need some steel bars. I want that, one of those swords. Also some screws and such.
Certainly, certainly. I can find you some great steel ingots. I didn't know we had such a crafter in the mix. I'd be proud for you to see what kind of steel I can produce. Come over here, here. Look at this table here, and I'll show you. And he guides you over to one of the tables with the steel ingots on it. He says, "One moment while I fetch my finest swords for someone as intrigued as you. I will be back one moment with someone. What would you like? Would you like a decorative claymore like my friend here, or would you like a more short sword? Or maybe a dagger for something to keep behind that collar of yours?"
No, just a sword, like I said.
Very well. You look at those ingots and I'll be right back with you. As he goes back to the back, you see him kind of essentially leaving the shop only for a moment, essentially through it kind of looks like almost, it looks like those beaded like doorway entrances, except instead of beads, it's made of a bunch of really thin chain links that have essentially been draped down over the entrance to his back office or his back stock. And those chain links kind of do that little clinky clink as he goes behind them, as you can imagine him fetching some of the finer swords. Give me an appraisal check on the steel ingots, and Haboku, you can also help him if you would like with this.
Well, I can offer one either way. Either one for teamwork or one for appraisal.
Definitely would appreciate the assist. I don't have any dots in appraisal.
Yeah.
If you have something else that you think might work better for the situation, I'm more than ears.
No, that's the right thing. I just don't have any dots in it.
This looks like good metal.
We'll go with... I got more dots in forceful, but innovative would be more fitting for what he wants. So mind, innovative, and yeah. And then I got 1 from appraisal for assist. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're looking at them. The steel ingots themselves, you aren't familiar with exactly like the finer details of what essentially what a finer detail of what steel would be. Though as you kind of pick them up, you can tell that there is a definite weight to them. Not an uncomfortable weight, but definitely one that does tell you that it is indeed an actual steel ingot. And judging by the shop itself, you can essentially guess that this is quality steel enough. And as you kind of look around, you see that even the other ingots as well, even the people who were in the shop, also seem to be impressed with the ingots as well. You'd imagine that they were at least of a quality enough to attract attention.
I didn't realize
And you see the
ingots could be
screws in
more
the-
than just, standard, it's a bar of metal, but okay.
There's a lot of things you can always have alloys that come off as actual full things, so you can tell that it definitely does seem like it is legitimate steel. And you do see screws as well. You see various bibs and bobs. You see screws, lug nuts, and all sorts of things. A lot of them seem to be based around weapon crafting or armor crafting. So you'll even see a big old bin of essentially chain links, and you can even buy chain links by the pound.
He's not interested in that. He is going to take a few of the ingots and a bunch of the screws and nuts and such. And the short sword.
Haboku, as you were looking around, are you doing anything in the shop, or is there anything that might catch your interest in the shop?
He would be interested in a lot of the weapons and armor that are on display, but nothing much beyond that.
Yeah. As you see him come out, you see him holding what looks to be a very, very finely decorated sword. He brings over a series of 4 of them to you. He says, "These are the finest looking swords I have in my entire shop. I can't say anyone that won't look at you and say, that right there is a fine sword." And you see him as he lays out all 4 of them. Go ahead and give me an additional appraisal check.
Well, first off, Asher's just going to shake his head at those.
Mhm.
No, those look too gaudy. Don't you have something that's just, well made, but doesn't look so it's not so decorated and stuff?
You see him, you can't really, like I said, tell by his face. It's just really hard to make out any kind of emotional features. But after staring, almost kind of having like a kind of staring contest with him a second, he puts both of his hands on his chest, and with a very pretty boisterous laugh, he just kind of starts kind of leaning back a little bit. Oh, so someone who actually knows what they're doing here. And you see him as he quickly picks up the 4 swords. So you're not going to be bought with fancy trinkets. Very, very well. And you kind of see him look a little bit happier at that. I have to sell these decorative swords to keep myself more in business, because a good sword I can't really... He kind of looks over. Not very many people want actual swords. They like the decoration portion. Let me get you my actual fine steel. And you'll see as he'll put away the decorative swords. He says, "Here, come back with me. I'll take you back to my stock."
Asher will follow. This is totally
And
not a
Haboku
trap.
Haboku will go with.
You go back to the back of the shop with the you pass through the chain link beads as they kind of almost wash over your body a little bit, kind of clanking a little bit. You maybe have 1 or 2 of the chain links kind of click on your collar a little bit as you essentially led through the back. And as you get
Ring,
to the back, you
not
see
a collar.
Yeah, sorry, the ring on your neck. And you kind of get back there, and you see what looks to be a miniature forge with a chimney that goes all the way into the ceiling. And as you kind of see, you see a lot of the decorative swords seem to be kind of laid out on a table, just kind of placed there a little bit. But then hanging on the walls themselves, you see completely unadorned steel swords that you can tell, even just by looking at them, they look like they would hold themselves in a fight 10 times over anything the decorative swords would make. Here you go, my friends. Let me show you my actual stock of finer swords. You must be wanting to draw blood with these, not trying to impress the noble lady of your friends.
Well, yeah, we've got a bunch of bad Digimon out there doing all sorts of bad things, making Digimon glitch. We gotta go kill them.
Perfect. And you see as he grabs a few of the swords, you see a few in various lengths, basically kind of length anywhere from a dagger to a long sword. But because of the wider range of how Digimon are, the dagger is really tiny and the long sword is really long. I make these for all sorts of the Digimon who are actually trying to, well, save the world around here, and those just wanting to put up a decent fight in the coming times. Here, and he'll lay them out. These swords themselves, and you kind of see as they each one of them have his own signature, where you were seeing that signature missing on the decorative swords themselves, but all of these swords seem to have a stamped mark that kind of has that A embossed in steel on it at the base. Here we go. These ones, and depending on what length, the shortest one will go for about 7 bytes. The tallest one of these is going to be about 15. Which of these do you think would fit best for you?
Somewhere in the middle, I think.
Okay. And you kind of see him. He puts away some of the shorter daggers. Can I interest a dagger in one, or a dagger to a sword in your friend over there? As he kind of looks over to you, Haboku.
Haboku will tilt his head curiously.
I
Can I-
apparently...
Hmm?
I apparently forgot to write down how many bytes we started with.
You
I
started
believe
with
it was 20.
20, and you're technically supposed to get 30 when you come back to town, but I will give you a small loan if you don't have that immediately. Because it is technically supposed to be part of the quest reward for completing it, so...
I mean, Haboku can also share here with him. He hasn't spent any of
Yeah.
his bytes yet at all.
Yeah. He says, I'd be happy to give you guys a bundle of a deal. About a bite off each of you, for which ones you want.
But I don't need a bite. I'm already down an arm.
And you can just say that you would like a sword. Do you like a long, short, or dagger sword, Haboku?
He'd be more curious about anyone that he could carry in his mouth and still use.
Okay, I would say that he would get a. I would say that you could get, if you plan on using. He can probably even make it so there's a double-sided dagger as kind of like a mouth bit that you could use and essentially holding in your muzzle, especially with him having essentially various kinds of Digimon, some on all fours. That he could even make that he even probably would have a custom dagger that's essentially like a mouth bit that would have blades on either end, with a mouth guard obviously protecting the muzzle.
Well, Haboku would be up for anything.
Let's see. So a medium sword for you, and if you'd like to, I can give you one of these mouth bit daggers I have for my four-legged friend customers. And let's see, that'll be only 9 bytes for you, little one, and for the mouth bit, I'll say only 7 since it's on the dagger side of things.
Okay. Haboku will, empty the bytes he has and then again slowly counting them.
Asher also needs some springs. But go ahead.
Oh yes, I think I saw you shopping around for some ingots and stuff. That's the sword. Let's get out onto the outside, and I'll put these, and you'll see him as he kind of wraps up the swords. I'll keep these wrapped up nice and tight, and I'll put them on the counter. And then anything else you would like, I can go ahead and ring those up as well.
6, 7, and 7, right?
Yes. and he'll personally hand you, if you hand over the money now, he'll personally hand you over the mouth bit dagger, and then he'll just wait for Asher up at the front desk for you to just add anything else you'd like. And how many pounds of ingots do you think you'd like to have?
I have no idea.
How about we say I'll give you,
You know what I'm
for-
planning
let's-
with this, so
yeah, we'll say I'll give you 3 pounds of the steel ingots for an extra 5 bites. Someone don't at me what that would probably be, but let's just go with that. I don't know
Wake up.
metallurgy prices
Hold the
enough.
line. This hamlet shall not fall.
Ren, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in.
So for 15 bites in total, you can have all the screws, 5 pounds of steel ingots, and the sword on top of that.
and springs?
And any nuts and bolts. Yep, any of those smaller things added in as well.
Alright, all for 15 bytes? Deal.
Perfect.
If I were to type in the actual... I typed in 15 for how much I had left instead of subtracting.
There we go, and he says, thank you once again, and I hope to see you guys back once again.
A generous bestowal.
Kenku, thank you so
tipped
much.
$10.
Thank you so much for that tip. Thank you. I'm not going to bother writing this down because you know exactly what I'm going to be doing
Yeah.
with this, so
I'll
it'll
say
go to
just for the
use
purposes-
immediately.
Yeah, I'll say for the purposes of this, assume that it is exactly what you as a character would know that you need. Okay, and with that, Kotora and Rhiv, how are you guys hoping to find these two?
Okay, so Kotora is running down the stairs, and he's looking around for anybody that's inside of the flaming main at the moment.
They are all very many drinking around. You can tell none of them look like they're paying attention to anything other than their own table.
Kotora is giving a sigh. He's looking for the Flamon's wife.
You see them coming out with various platters of food. A few of them, the Flamon themselves, seems to be chatting up at the bar, filling some drinks. As you flag them down, you see Boonery there as she's going around to various places. Oh, hi there, darling. What can I help you with?
Miss Bonnery, have you seen Hatcher and Haboku?
Oh yes, darling. They were heading right out there. They seemed in a rush whenever kind of things. I saw Asher go first, and then I saw your little friend Haboku going right after him. They must be going on some kind of grand old adventure.
Did you saw where they headed off to?
And unfortunately, whenever it kind of looks over, unfortunately, once they leave that door, I don't really see much of them. I figured they're going somewhere in town, probably to grab a bite of eat, maybe someone of the other towns. This town has a lot of delicacies. I wouldn't be jealous if they went to go one of the other inns to try some of their food. We pride ourselves in the different delicacies we have in town.
Kotora nods and gives a big sigh. Okay, I'm in a bit of a hurry, so I gotta go.
No problem, darling. You head on out. Do you want me to tell you if anyone comes down asking for you? Do you want me to tell them where you're going, so you don't have a repeat of this?
Yeah, just tell them I went looking for Asher.
Okay, darling. I'll be seeing you.
Yeah, and Kotora is heading out, and the moment he goes out of the player main, he is looking for he's looking for anybody that's nearby or for any clues that either of them have went to this went to through a specific way.
And Viv, you're following tail of Kodo, aren't you?
Well, Kotora's like, piggybacking him.
Yeah, Kotora is running while giving Rhiv a piggyback ride.
I will say you do see, especially with the previous festival, you see a whole bunch of stalls that have been almost put up overnight across the up and down pathways of the town. You see various vendors yelling out what goods they have. A few of them are still setting up for the afternoon as various shifts are kind of putting in and out of their various things. The amount of commotion does seem to be really busily traveled, so you're going to have a hard time without having any solid direction. You can give me a basic perception check just to kind of see if you can find anything in particular.
Well, Rhiv certainly ain't rolling by himself, but he will provide assistance. So take one.
Well, I mean,
Can
for looking for signs, you'd be rolling survival. They weren't really being stealthy, so.
Yeah,
Can I
you
go?
do survival as well.
Yeah, can I go body instinct survival?
Yeah, go for it.
For talking to other people, it would probably be investigation.
Yeah, but let's go with the survival check first. And you're giving me one, right?
Yep, you're getting one. Oh,
Let me
okay.
solve up. Let me solve that one.
Nice.
Nice. 6.
I would say as you were looking around, there's obviously a bunch of people moving up and down. However, as you are kind of tracking, you do almost pick up a little. You kind of look at the ground, like you said, especially with Asher and Haboku running. You notice that a lot of the Digimon essentially seem to be more so. A lot of them seem to be on kind of two legs, but you notice a kind of, especially after traveling with Asher for at least a decent amount of time, you kind of notice about how they kind of walk at their you kind of walk and how it has that kind of like that four-legged pattern. And as you're kind of making it out, it looks like they weren't exactly trying to run in the middle of the street. It looks like they were more so essentially trying to avoid the main crowd. As you see a little bit of a track going north, it's not the most solid lead, but it definitely looks like you kind of see that four-legged quadruped kind of tracks that seem to be going north, kind of hugging the inside of the essentially plaza, so they're not end up getting too much in the middle of the crowd. Obviously, not intending to conjoin with the crowd and mingle.
Yeah. I found some clues. I found some tracks that it looks like it was made by a four-legged Digimon. The one that runs in 4 legs. Do you think it's them, Rhiv?
It might be.
Is the one lead I have. Okay. Okay, so Kotora is going to do a bit of a thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to whatchamacallit, Rhiv, can you hold try and hold on to me as tight as you can.
I can try.
Yeah. Okay, one moment. Kotora is getting the the parts of a Gabumon's skull that are the loose arms. He's trying he's trying to tie those tightly against Rhiv, so that he's like kind of wrap in his pelt a bit, and then Kotra is gonna get on all 4 legs and begin running towards the place where he saw the tracks going.
Okay. And as you kind of go north, you excuse me, you go north and you essentially kind of go through. You see a lot of the crowd seem to essentially keep to the main square, as it almost looks like Asher was kind of going behind all of the stalls to not have to run into anyone, as they were more looking for something or going somewhere or something. You're not really too sure where, but as you make your way to about halfway to the north of the town, it seems to cut into a far left, and as the tracks fade, it goes like the tracks like they're going to the other side of the street, but with all of the Digimon essentially going up and down the street, you would have to essentially have the tracks ended there, as the dirt is essentially kicked up entirely at this point. But it looks like they did at least cross the street at some point after you got about onto the north side of town.
Kotora gets up on his two legs again, and bicep slips a bit. Lost the tracks. He's going to look for anybody that's nearby.
Certainly. You see a few different stalls. You see some that seem to be, you see some stalls that seem to be selling various foods, exotic foods. Some stalls seem to be selling trinkets and the like. There's a few different stalls. I would say even upwards of 10 stalls, about 5 on each side, that seem to be peddling wares, as Digimon seem to be stopping at each one of them, and each one seems to have their own crowd, some lesser and some more. But yes, you could approach any of them.
What would be a role to ask them where if anybody has seen Asher
Investigation.
or Haboku? Yeah. But I'm just wondering what attribute and expertise to use.
So for attribute, it's social roles are usually soul. For expertise, that is of course up to you, but depending on which expertise you use, it may have an impact on the results of the roll. For example, if you try to be forceful with somebody, they may not be so thrilled to communicate.
Yeah.
And depending on the...
But if you're working with, like, a barbarian encampment or something, they might respect it instead.
Yeah. It all depends on who you wind up talking to, on what the expertise may have the impact on. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with soul, forceful, and investigation, mostly because Kotora is in a hurry and because forceful is my best expertise.
Yeah, by all means.
If you try to be forceful with the wrong person, you could wind up with a fight.
I know.
Or the most intense haggling battle of your life. I've played enough games to know how to haggle.
Can I get any dice from Rhiv?
I mean, Rhiv is still conscious, so he can still assist. So if it's investigation, go ahead and take 2. You can still talk to people and ask around.
That works.
Oh, dang.
I can solve that one. I cannot solve that one.
Oh, dang.
And the dice gods came down and said, "You must accept this one."
Okay. What exactly do you say to what kind of stall do you go to first of all? What just for curiosity's sake and flavor's sake, what kind of stall do you go to that you think would have seen Asher?
Kotora is just going to the nearest ones he sees, and just asking every single one. If they say no, he's moving on.
Okay.
He's usually more polite than this, but at the moment he's in a hurry.
You see a few of them as they seem to be busy. They a few of them definitely say, "Oh, I don't keep up with customers. I don't even keep track of customer names." You try to tell them that they're maybe not an actual customer. They're just someone else. You see as you try to actually talk to the merchants themselves, none of them really seem to be paying attention to you unless you seem to be trying to buy something from them. However, as a few of the townsfolk do actually recognize you, they do say, as they kind of recognize you, especially from being the event themselves, as you begin to describe Asher, or even study the word Asher, as a lot of the town kind of knows who Asher is, at least the ones who were there before it got popular again in the past day. And a few of them will say that they do remember seeing them head to some of the shops. They weren't really sure which ones, but they were heading to some of the shops over here. And over here you see what looks to be a blacksmith shop. You see what looks to be a shop that sells wooden trinkets and the like. And you also see a ceramic shop.
Kotora is going to look at all those three shops. Well, at least we have some lead. Which one should we check though?
Clearly, he's within the ceramic shop.
What do you think, Rhiv?
Rhiv doesn't really have like a particular inclination either way, like just naturally. But he'd probably prefer to check things that might at least be travel related.
What are the options again?
There's a ceramic shop with more clay and kilns, a blacksmith shop, and then a shop that sells lumbering, wooden supplies and things like that. Stuff that you'd imagine like campfire, kind of thing like a lumberjack campfires kind of
Hold
store.
the line. This
Are they-
hamlet shall not fall.
Are there?
Stealth Warrior raided
One
my
sec.
stream with 8 viewers.
Mhm.
Steel the Warrior, thank you very much for that raid. Welcome in. How was your stream? Hope you had a great time. Welcome in, everybody. I am Razim. We are currently doing one of our Digimon campaigns with our custom Scar system that we've been developing for a little over 2 years now. We have a lot of different tabletop games. We've got various other video games that I do here. And then we also have artists that join us here and there, like we've got Conrad here doing 3D art right now. But I hope you had a great time over there, Steel. I will be in the chat from here.
Which
Okay,
one you
Okay.
going to, Kotora? Mhm.
Okay. Question: Are the shops like really close to each other?
They're within it. They're reasonably they're a little bit distance apart, but only as big as the shops are.
Okay. Okay, so Kotora is going to go to like in the middle of the three of them without actually going into any of them.
Yeah.
And he's not going into one yet, but he's going to inhale.
You gonna what?
He's going to take a deep breath.
Mhm.
And then he's just going to yell really loudly the name Haboku.
I want you to give me a percentile die, Haboku. Not a perception one, just a percentile die. This is more for me deciding the timing of everything. 36. I would say this is right after you guys are essentially inside or essentially in the back rooms. I would say give me a perception check, Haboku.
For hearing, I take it.
Yep, hearing specifically.
Right, instinct, perception.
I was about to ask, would that be at a increased difficulty, but it doesn't look like it's gonna matter.
There are 2 ones in there.
I would say I would say this would be at the time where you essentially are just now, like as Asher is essentially trying to get like the steel ingots and everything, you're kind of playing with your mouth bit dagger against one of the dummies that you were mentioning earlier, and you would hear the sound of Kotora outside. You also know that this is supposed to be a surprise. Not to let that sway your decision in any way.
Well, he doesn't know what that the surprise is completely yet. But he'll carefully poke his head outside and see who called him.
You see a very, very tired looking Rhiv over the back of Kotora. And a bunch of people staring at Kotora, very like, oh, who left this loud child over here? Just this.
Can Kotora see Haboku?
Haboku's standing in the doorway.
Kotora is looking at the three shops that were pointed out to him, and then he finally sees Haboku and just gives a sigh of relief. Ah, I found you. Kotora is heading towards Haboku.
Hi, Kotora. Then what do you mean?
I mean, I was looking for you and Asher. You guys just set it out by yourselves.
Oh, Jace did tell me to follow Asher.
I know. But Asher wasn't supposed to head out to begin with, but he just went off by himself. And then Jace told you to follow him.
So where is this happening in the time frame?
You're essentially buying your stuff at the front counter while Haboku is talking to them.
Okay.
You're finishing your purchase while they are essentially talking to Haboku. They took a while to actually find you.
Is Asher with you?
Yeah.
Okay, can you take me to him?
Well, I think he. How close is this? This is the register
It's
or
like,
whatever.
like 20 feet away. Just take me to your leader. Just.
Haboku will drop his dagger and just kind of tilt his head in the direction of the counter.
Kotora is moving towards Asher.
You're gonna see the Armamon go. Thank you so much for your purchase. If there's any damages, you get free repairs for the next 2 years on me on the house. Let me know if those are any dull, and I'll be happy to shop in them again.
Sounds good. Thank you. And he's packing it up and rushing out towards the door.
You turn around and Kotora is almost halfway to the counter as you turn around and see them.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Let's go, Haboku, next shop. And he is moving around Kotora to run out the shop.
Where are you guys going?
Can't say, it's a surprise. Haboku runs after Asher.
Haboku, do you remember the last surprise that you two pulled?
Haboku has left the building.
Can I say that he doesn't?
Kotora is gritting his teeth and he's following them.
Meanwhile, at the Flaming Mane, how is Fulgur doing? He said that he was looking through and he notices the bracelets.
Yeah, so after he's finished looking through Arcus's bag to make note of what they currently have, he's gonna notice the new bracelets that definitely weren't there before. What are these? And he's gonna start looking over them.
Roll for emotional attachment.
Oh no.
Moderate, moderate. You get a feeling, you get a sensation that these were very important to Arcus. They seem to have colors that seem to match, as you'd be very familiar, as even just looking at your own fur. It's almost like the color, the icy blue, seems to match what you remember, what you can kind of tell your own eye shine looks like. And then the orange seems to match the color of Arcus's kind of orangish, fiery fur.
Odd. He's gonna basically do an examination on them to see maybe if they're like something from a ruin or something.
As you begin to rub them, especially one of them, like as you're examining it, you kind of in the process of examining tap one of them 3 times, as just in the natural course of examining, and as you tap it 3 times, you feel a almost like a wash over you, and it feels like your body is kind of tugging you in a certain direction, and then you look and realize that it's just tugging you to the other bracelet. And then as you examine this other bracelet and you kind of touch it, you realize you kind of have that sensation wash over you again, and it seems to it's almost like you know where the other bracelet is, even though it's right in your hand. It's kind of like a sixth sense when it comes to finding where this other one is. You're not really too sure if it's something else, but they definitely seem, as you kind of see one lights up and the other lights up the same time, even though you're not touching the other one. As you kind of play around with them a little bit more, they definitely do seem to be linked in a way. You can make some educated guesses, but without anyone telling you explicitly, you would only have guesses, but they seem to be linked in a way that makes you feel out the other one. But with obviously them being in the same room, you have a very small sample size.
So yeah, he's gonna basically then mess around with it by taking the orange one off and placing it like at one side of the room, and then basically tap the one he has on.
And as you do that, you even kind of close your eyes too, as you're trying to see if it's just a visual stimulation or not. And as you kind of you kind of put the ring somewhere like kind of off in in the corner. You maybe even like hide it underneath a pillow, and you go to the other side of the room and you kind of tap it 3 times. You don't see the glow through the pillow, and as you have your eyes close themselves, you get a sensation that it's like knowing where something is. It's like you left something somewhere and you remember where it is, even if you've never been there. It's like you misplaced something, but you know exactly where that place is. You just have to go find it. As you kind of have this sensation of almost like a memory in a way, as it kind of guides you and you feel like you can tell exactly where it is in the room without even having to know where it was prior.
He's gonna go back over and pick up the orange bracelet. Then he's gonna sort of crumble to himself and then look towards the door, and then heads out to find Jace.
Jace's room would be just the one north of you. That's the one that you were originally kind of hiding out in a little bit, as that was where Jace kind of had everyone, or you kind of were meeting everyone. And you remember that seems to be where more Jason, Asher, and Haboku were staying. So you'd be able to make your way to Jace's room just fine.
He's gonna peek in to see if he's there.
He's laying in bed.
He's gonna then nervously approach.
You sense a presence. You feel like a child is watching you, Jace.
Jace just cracks an eye, rolls over. Oh, hi.
Hi.
What's up?
Can you hold this for a sec? And he's gonna give you the orange bracelet.
He blinks. All right, call me stumped. And he'll take it.
Huh?
He's smiling.
Folger's not really getting it.
You get handed
Then-
a very beautiful bracelet, Jace.
And then Folger's gonna move to basically the other end of the room. And then tap on his bracelet 3 times.
As you do that, you get the sensation that the bracelet seems to be it's almost like it's in a pocket somewhere, in the sense of like, oh, it's in that coat pocket. Oh, I remember being in that coat pocket. And you get that sense of the general direction it is in. It's kind of like remembering like, oh, it is somewhere, but I know where that is. As it's not really a visual sensation, as it's more of like an internal sensation, as it seems to kind of guide you towards it. But as you kind of look around the room, it's almost like it's guiding you through the wall itself into where that is. And as you move like left and right, you can kind of see it's kind of like you're waving back and forth, but it seems to be pinpointed to a specific place in the wall itself. It doesn't seem to respect any sort of physical boundaries between you and it. It seems to just be a straight direction to where it is, without any consideration for anything in between it.
Does it look like Jace is experiencing any of that when he tapped the bracelet?
I would say, well, Jace wasn't told to tap the bracelet, but I will say, Jace, you do notice that the bracelet kind of begins to light up a bit. A few, bits after Folger leaves, you just kind of notice the bracelet kind of lights up a little bit, but you weren't told anything about it.
Yeah, Jace is
Folger
going to
just-
absolutely drop it the moment it lights up.
Oh, Folger just went to the other end of the room that
I thought you
Jace
went
is
to
in.
the. Oh, sorry. I thought you went to your own room to see if it would go through walls.
No.
You do the. You see Jace just drop the bracelet after it lights up.
Oh, apparently they're linked to each other.
Non-explosive, right?
No.
Okay.
He says with confidence. Question mark.
Good to know. Neat.
Folger's then gonna go back over and give the bracelet back to Jace. You tap it 3 times now.
Jace pauses. Well, you see, buddy, on one hand I have fingers.
It's a bracelet. He can't tap his own wrist.
The other hand isn't there anymore.
You can. I would say with a simple dexterity, you can move your tail to tap it, but it is going to be awkward for you.
Hold on, I'm not used to using my tail like this. Gotta get all these puns out before Asher gets back, because he will kill me.
Yes.
After you tap the bracelet, you kind of try to do a mix of having it halfway behind you, but also halfway your tail. And as you kind of doing this weird shimming, you're able to tap the bracelet 3 times with your tail. And as you do, it is a sensation that kind of washes over you. It is the sensation of losing Asher somewhere, but you know exactly where they are. In the sense that it's oh, they're clearly right there. They are right there. And as you kind of get that sensation, you look down and you realize that it is essentially guiding you to where Folger is currently standing with their bracelet. and you get that sensation. It's like, oh, that's why I left my child.
Jace is just gonna get a look on his face, then offer out his arm and be like, "Yeah, okay, I see. Can you take this off?"
Uh-huh. And Fulgur's gonna take it back.
Interesting. Well, something to discuss with the group. You doing right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for me?
Not at the moment, I don't think.
Okay, do you want to just chill in here with me while I sleep?
Sure.
I mean, you're free to do whatever you want.
Right. He looks really anxious still.
To the hamlet.
You gonna sit, lay, or what you gonna do, Fulgur?
Probably gonna keep messing around with the bracelet, just testing things.
Okay. Let's see. Asher and Haboku, you have now successfully ran off, though not very far. What else would you like to investigate?
Right to your next, Asher.
Sorry about that. Let's see. I'm gonna need some hoses and wires and some other electronics, I think. Let's see what we can find for that.
I would say you'd probably be able to, in the wood shop itself, because since latex rubber does come from trees, I would say you're going to be very hard pressed to find electronics outside of some very specialized, unique like stalls and stuff. But for like the hoses and stuff, you would definitely probably be able to find any kind of like latex / rubber stuff in the tree shop.
Sorry, repeat that?
Which is just once. If you're looking for like you said, like rubber or latex or hose kind of stuff.
Hoses, yes.
Yeah, you'd be able to find that in the. If you're talking about like latex kind of stuff, you'd be able to find that in the. You'd be able to find that in the wood shop or the lumberjack shop. It also kind of doubles as a traveling supply shop a little bit as well.
Okay, then that's our next stop.
Well, Haboku will follow. Oh.
You make your way inside the lumber shop. You see what looks to be almost like a very, very small, hairy-looking, like almost like you're not sure if it's a bear or ape or some other kind of creature, but anyone else who'd be familiar, you specifically actually might recognize it as it is a jungle Mojiamon. It is a mouthful of a Digimon. But you see them running, you kind of see them, and there's various wood saws, everything, a few latex and rubber related materials in there. So anything you're looking for that, they would be happy to essentially help you with that. But you see them kind of with this gruff voice, kind of going back and forth with this bandsaw on some of the wood. It's not exactly the quietest shop in the world, but it looks very efficient at what he does.
Okay. Sorry, my brain is just like 3,000 different ways right this second. So we're at the place where I can get hoses.
Yep.
Or at least, you
see
know,
a very
latex stuff.
Yeah, you see a very nice hose selection. It's kind of that plasticky / rubber / latex kind of stuff that you kind of would get from that like trees. those kind of like those rubber and trees and stuff, and they're like those synthetic rubber trees and stuff. Not synthetic, just rubber trees. So yeah, you would see hoses and stuff. I would say for the sake of just completion, I would say any sort of supplies that you would need from there, I would say just a single bite and call it.
Okay.
If you're just looking for something small like that, yeah.
Yeah, in particular, a bunch of very small ones.
Yeah. You'd say he would sell you the various hoses, and it'd be a small. It's one of those like big bins where it just has like a whole bunch of different stuff in it. While you're looking in there, Kotora and Kotora, Rhiv on top of Kotora would eventually find you in there with it being short on your tail as you're looking through the bin, kind of grabbing all the different hoses and the like.
Assuming they did start running after.
Well, they're not exactly about to.
I don't
Stop.
think they're planning on losing you again.
I mean, you know, you're going around to various shops, is going. It's secret, and Rhiv is very worried that about certain things. So
You did see a very nice dagger that was being held by Haboku. They seem to be arming themselves for something. You're not sure what, though. That won't add to any worry whatsoever.
definitely not.
Kotora, you see Asher over a bin of various rubber hoses as they seem to be grabbing a paw full of rubber hoses like they're snakes. Like little rubber snakes almost. Just hoarding all of these rubber hoses in their paw.
Kotora is just going to approach Asher. Can you please stop running off like that?
But I have things to do. And besides, who are you to tell me not to run off? Either of you, for that matter.
Okay, are you about to go and hurt the people around you with your presence?
Possibly. Depends on if Jace is still making those puns.
With your just by being around people, doing nothing else, are you about to hurt people?
Probably not.
Then it's not the same.
It is not the same.
That's easy for you to say.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't particularly want to explode in front of your face. I am sorry for being worried. Listen, I just want to know what the heck it is that you're doing.
It does not concern you.
Are you going to be heading out of town?
Probably not. It seems they've got most of what I need here.
Oh, okay. Kotora just gives a bit of a sigh of relief.
Haboku was just sitting there, watching her exchange go down, one looking slightly confused and slightly worried. Are we in trouble? Did something bad happen?
No, I'm just very worried that something bad was about to happen.
Yeah, but it seems we may have misunderstood. From the way that Jace was speaking to me before you guys ran off, it kind of seemed that you guys were going off out of town. He's very worried.
Well, he probably should be.
Why would you
I
say
have
that?
plans. Mahaha!
You went off to the counter with your rubber hoses. I will say with a quick one bite exchange, you now have your rubber hoses in hand. Successfully purchased legally.
Okay. And Asher's gonna take off again. Is there an electronics store in this town? You know, Radio Shack
I would
style
say-
of place.
I would say there's a few bits, and I would say there's a few different stalls that are selling electronic parts from various further away. Electronic parts are very, very rare to come by, as just not many people understand or want to understand technology. So you'd have to find some of the smaller stalls. But I would say there's definitely going to be a stall or two that caters to that, but they're not going to have a huge supply of things. So you'll have to roll a percentile dice to see if they have what you want in stock.
You know, now I cannot help but think of if we ever see an Enderman where they're going to have their Ender made out of wood or something in this world.
Yeah, I would say with 42, and we're talking about electronics, I feel like that's a very appropriate number. I will say with 42, that is a very specific pass.
It is the meaning of life.
And it's also very technological, especially considering where it's coming from. So I will consider that a extremely successful pass. What would you like to buy?
Parts for his plans.
Okay, I would say because of the exotic nature of it, it's going to cost 5 bytes for that exotic nature of it. Because like I said, electricity parts are very, very rare to come by. You should be about 1 byte short, so Haboku.
Crap. Haboku? Can I borrow a bite?
Sure. Haboku he'll once again spill all his bites out. What?
That's it,
one.
just the one.
Okay.
Counts to 1. And I
then
would
they
say
will
with
put
that, go ahead, Haboku.
No, I just said he'll put the remaining back. Heck.
And with that, I'll say you complete your purchase of the electronic parts that you're looking for. With the time it took for Haboku to empty out the coins and count to 1, Koto would be on your tail again. As you're
Yeah.
purchasing electronic parts.
Yeah, Kotora is still following them around.
You see Asher buying a bunch of weird electrical parts, which you have no idea. Rhiv, you would probably have a better idea of what they're doing. You're more than free to at least try to guess at what they're trying to do with electrical parts as you're more attuned to it, but you're happy to give me an appraisal check, Rhiv.
Well, Rhiv isn't in too much of a state to be doing that right now, but would you prefer appraisal or tech?
Give me tech. I forget the tech's a thing. Yeah, give me a tech check.
It's still 1.
Something very, very electrical. You're kind of putting the pieces together, but there's just not enough information to go on, with all of it seeming so random. But he does seem to be Asher does seem to be at least picking out quality electrical parts. You have a sense of pride in them that they actually know what they're doing when it comes to electronics. It's something you don't see very often. Whoops.
I mean, he's got 3 dots in technology. I would hope he knows what he's doing.
It's like an odd sense of connectivity through bioprotection. But yes, you have retrieved everything you need, Asher.
Excellent. Oh, wait. No. One more thing. And he's running out of the shop again.
Kotora is following along on 4 legs.
He is
Haboku's
looking
off.
for somewhere to get oil.
Oh, oil. That would actually be in the lumber shack. That would be in the lumber tree itself. I would say you would get that from the lumber shop if you want.
Oh.
Whoops.
Well, in
Well,
that
I can't-
case,
I
I guess back there.
Whoops.
You go back in the thing and you see you see what is essentially plant oil, but in this world the plant oil is essentially equivalent because Digimon don't exactly degrade into oil in this universe. So it would essentially be a series of plant oil equivalent to what we would use in our world for oil.
Makes sense.
Well, he is specifically wanting, oil akin to, greasing, for
Yeah.
grease. Grease.
That's what. Yeah, it would be special. It would be specialized plant oil specifically designed for that purpose. It would just be in this. It would just be for the lore of this universe. It would be plant oil that does that.
Because
There is no. There's no degradation of old Digimon into the world that would create all that. So yeah, there would be tree oil like that. There'd be tree oil that'd be appropriate for greasing in this world. I'll add that to my little lore sheet because I actually do like that. Tree motor oil.
Rotor oil.
No, I'm gonna call it. No, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call it arbor oil. Instead of motor oil, it's gonna be arbor oil because that's tree oil.
I like
Harbor Freight.
Exactly. Instead of harbor oil, it's arbor oil because arbor means tree.
that. I like that.
We'll go with that. For that, I would say for the oil, I would say include it with the. Then since it's produced by a tree, I would say you'd probably be able to get that for probably just one extra bite in the oil you would need. And I would even say you would have leftover oil after all this as well. It would be selling it in like a pint.
Well, perfect. He is going to look at Haboku. So I'm out of money. How much can I borrow?
Haboku just once again and places all his bites on the ground, all his remaining bites, and just
It counts.
How much? How much do you need?
Haboku has 12 remaining.
How much are they?
Just one for the pint of oil.
Oh, okay.
Probably want to get 3 then.
Okay. I have 3 pints of oil.
Because
3
that's
pints
one
of
thing
arbor
that
oil
having
specifically.
that's one thing that having extra of would be helpful for topping up.
Yeah, 100%. You can even add the arbor oil to your sheet, and we're gonna consider that an in-universe item now.
Yeah, that was one I would add.
Yeah, I like that.
How much are they spending their training 3 bites?
Yep, it's 1 bite per pint of arbor oil.
Okay. Kotora is going to toss 1 bite towards Haboku. Haboku, take this.
Oh, 1. And Haboku is taking that and then adding 2 from his own. 2.
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
Frosty Bite.
Frosty Bite
Oh.
266 tip $9.95.
Really?
Wow.
Nice try.
Really?
Thank you for the tip. We are now 5 cents from the tip goal.
All right, everybody go home.
Oh, wow.
We did it. We almost did it. Arbor oil for everyone. Okay, but I'll say with one bite from Kotora, 2 bites from Haboku, you'd be able to get all 3 pints of the arbor oil.
Alright, I'm only adding 2 because 1 is going to the current project.
Yep.
And with that, he is going to actually be sprinting this time back towards the inn.
I'm guessing without telling them where you're going?
Of course.
I mean, Kotora is telling behind you guys. He's pretty much just following you. Even if he's not keeping up, he's not losing you guys.
Except that Asher is avoiding crowds.
You'd essentially go straight down along the back sides of the stalls until you reach a intersection where you can kind of cross over easier, and then you'd be able to cross over to the other side and head south.
Just because he's avoiding crowd doesn't mean Kotora cannot follow him.
Fair enough. Anyways, arriving back at the
Also,
inn, he's bursting in the door, heading straight upstairs, and bursting into the room with Jace. And just starts unloading his pack of all the materials he bought.
How to tell Jace is used to this. He sits up, looks directly at Asher, lays back down.
Olger's running out of the room. Startled.
Haboku is kind of in the doorway as well, as they were also carrying supplies as well. I will say, they all kind of bulking up the front of the room.
Oh no.
There is a window to your right, though.
No.
Do you roll to run
One of
into
these days.
Haboku or not?
You know, that's not a bad idea, Raijin. But would Jace forgive Asher for that?
No.
Jace doesn't even know what that is yet.
But if he finds out that his son had this,
I don't think Haboku's got the opportunity to tell anybody about that.
Give me a
Olger's-
percentile dice, Haboku.
Okay.
You know, Volker is trying to squeeze past.
You kind of standing there dumbfounded, Haboku, while you're kind of like, Volker kind of sneaks past you without you kind of realizing it, as you're way too focused on kind of helping Asher get all of his stuff in line.
Valgar, stay close, please.
You know, I feel like Kotora is coming back with a very tired step and then flopping down near the room. I haven't ran like that in a while.
Volker, did you go back to the room with Did you go back to like your old room with Kotora and Rhiv?
He's looking for 2 pieces of paper.
I would say you'd be able to find that, especially in Riv's room. You didn't notice that there's probably several pieces of paper that have probably been around here as well. As well as there's also a complimentary notebook on the desk that seems to have kind of like a miniature journal. It looks like a miniature complimentary journal for all the rooms. It's
there
on the
also
front
a-
cover.
Is there also a writing utensil?
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those really cheap hotel pencils, but it is essentially a small notebook that just says, "Your adventures await behind these pages," on the front cover, and it's just a little small notebook. It has like a little schedule on the front, and on like the front page, there's like a little schedule on the front. It seems like it's a little personal diary for anyone staying at the inn.
I mean, he'll put that to the side of him, but at first he's gonna start writing things down on each piece of paper.
Yeah, I'll say about halfway through your writing. About how much are you writing?
Well, one is a note to himself.
A kind gesture.
I know.
Thank you for the tip, Ido. That is the tip goal fully completed.
And with that, I'll say, yeah. I mean, you can. I would say, yeah. Anything you would like to write, you can just tell. You can say it out loud now what you'd like to write, and I would say you would have the privacy to write that until Koto and Rhiv get back. So
Yes, one is something for Jace, and the other is for Arcus.
I'd say, and as you finish writing out the last letter, and no,
Thank you for the tip, Righteous.
Oh, thanks.
the weirdly numbered tips.
Okay, continue.
And hiding the stream. Popping out chat, not looking at that.
It's
And,
to trigger
I'd say,
certain people that get bothered by the sense.
I was
And,
just going to be irritated if the tip goal was supported by like.
Oh.
Thank you for the tip, Raharu.
It's gonna look weird for a bit. I would say you'd be able to successfully write out anything you need as you're kind of like proofreading both notes. By the time you finish proofreading both notes, you kind of store them however you would like. And as you're storing them, I would say Koto and Rhiv would make their way back into the room.
Wait. Before Kotora goes back
Mhm.
inside of his own room, he
Mhm.
just wants to peek into Jace's room.
You still have Rhiv on your back as you do this. Rhiv is just permanently piggyback to you until you decide otherwise.
There are
Yeah.
worse fates.
Don't talk to me and my child.
There are worse fates than getting piggyback rides from Kotora.
Haboku and I would say, are you being sneaky about looking in there, or are you fully like, WTF?
Yeah, no, Kotora is not being sneaky. He just wants to peek in to see what the heck is going on.
You see the
Although-
scheming.
Although Kotora actually has some sort of idea of what the heck is actually happening, he just wants to confirm it.
I would say this would be about 5 minutes later. Asha, what would it look like about 5 minutes later? You laying everything out, working as you go, prototyping as you go, sketching it out. What does your planning process and execution process look like?
So, in general, he is gonna be using his Valve doc for, sketching things out and kind of seeing how it should work in theory. That's most of what he's doing right now after he's gotten all the parts laid out.
Okay. And are you very organized when it comes to this kind of stuff, or is it kind of organized by size?
What?
So, like, whenever you're organizing parts, do you organize them alphabetically? Do you organize the parts by size? Do you organize them by category?
He organizes them by he pulled it out of the bag first.
Ah, that kind of organization.
It's just kind of there. Like, the different parts are in their own individual piles, but otherwise no particular organization. He knows where it is.
Oh.
That's what matters.
Oh no. You would kind of see them in this like planning / sketching phase as you would kind of look in through the room. You'd kind of see Asher kind of humped over the you can't really see the Valve dock itself, as Haboku and Asher are kind of blocking the vision of what they're kind of standing over. But you do see at least they are safe in the room, and they do seem to have something that they're doing.
Kotora is just going to peek in and he's just going to give a bit of a smile. Hmm. Are the two of you are the two of you having fun there?
Haboku is just wagging his tail innocently.
Asher is lost in his work.
Yeah,
They're up. Go ahead.
you're actually being quite diligent about this. Well, whatever you're doing, I hope it goes well. It's good to see you taking care of your father, though. Because after Kodra said that he's leaving and going into his room.
As you make your way inside the room, you see Fogger seems to be tucking away something into a bag of his, but it seems to be in finishing up whatever he was doing.
Kodra is looking at Fogger. Hey Fogger, are you all right? Sorry, if we kind of just left without in a hurry.
No problem.
Are you
Looks a little startled.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I am exhausted. I haven't ran like that in a while.
Sorry, Kotora.
It's okay. You were worried, and I had a feeling I knew what you were worried about. If I didn't took you there, you were gonna try and get to him yourself. And I couldn't let you do that. Now that we know that is fine, though, now we can actually to bed. You need to rest.
It's still
I-
3 p.m. in the afternoon.
I
Riv
need
has
to-
12 exhaustion. I don't know what you want from him.
Yeah, I need to rest as well. Yeah, Kotora is sitting Rib down on his bed, and then he's going back in his position. Just in his position, instead of going to his own bed, he's like laying back against Rib's bed just to be near him.
I don't think you guys have a limit to how many quote unquote long rests. Is there only one long rest per 24 hours, or is that just
Yes.
not
Yeah,
implemented
there's
yet?
only one long rest for 24 hours. There are short rests you could take and breather rests you could take in between. Either or, you can't do both. But technically speaking, you could take 2 short rests throughout a day and get a 8-hour long rest.
You can always sleep in, but the benefits
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
at,
This is more just
yeah.
like narratively, like
Yeah.
even if we like just rest and do like nothing more, it's still going to be us basically effectively just getting 2 short rests through the day.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would say you'd be able to kind of double. I would even say at this point, you'd be able to double up on the short rest at least, since you haven't technically short rested yet, and there's been a lot going on. I would even say at this point, you would essentially kind of be able to have kind of like a short rest, and then you'd have a deeper short rest, where it's kind of like that deeper REM sleep. Essentially, not enough to be, the whole 8, but I would say, at least for this one instance, I would say you could probably get 2 short rest in, just especially because of you being so tired.
Well, like especially if we just don't do
Yeah.
anything the rest of the day, we just get 2 short
Yeah.
rests. Either way, Riv's penalty goes down to a -3 instead of a -5.
Nice.
As you're sleeping away, and Kotora, you're sleeping away as well, you can, I think, do you spend vigor to remove the exhaustion, or is it just to, you take, says short rest or short breaks that you can take in order to spend your vigor for healing. Okay, not the exhaustion is not something you have to spend vigor to do.
Nope.
Okay, good. Then yep, you also recover 1 willpower, so that's actually 2 willpower you recover from both short rests and 2 points of exhaustion. And Kotora, you can also do the double short rest as well.
Nice.
Folger, what would you like to be doing after you finish up the letters and you see like?
Do you
Go
want to
ahead.
say that short rests are supposed to be 8 hours apart?
Yeah, that's why I said you could take up to 2 a day because they're 8 hours apart.
Oh, okay. You only take a short rest or a breather. Okay, no, I misread that. Okay, so it'd be one.
Well, that's
short
why I
rest
said
time.
either or, but not both.
Oh, I see what it's saying here. No, I get that now. Yeah. So you'd have 1 short rest for now, which is that 1 point of exhaustion and then that 1 willpower, and both of you can kind of do that while the rest of the party is doing their own thing right now.
Yeah, it's just that, like I was saying, if we spend our entire day doing this, we could take up to 2 total.
Yeah. No, I see
'Cause,
what you're saying. Yep, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, you both, so Kotora and Rhiv, you guys are going to have that short rest. It's at least an hour. So let's see what everyone else is doing during that hour you guys are working on that. Folger, what are you doing?
He's going to put the note for Arcus in his bag for the moment, and then just head out back to Jace's room and just peek in and wait till whatever Asher and Haboku are doing are done.
I'd say, yeah, you'd be able to quietly observe them. They're not particular. I don't think, unless Asher or Boku correct me, but I don't think either of them are going to be particularly alert enough to worry if you're looking in or not, unless you'd like to be.
No, Asher's, like I said, completely absorbed in his work.
Okay. You can go and start working on that, and Haboku will be able to help you. Let's see here. Let's see. How do you want? And this is kind of, I know, because this is kind of on the fly here a little bit. How would you like to determine kind of like the success of this, or do you just want to say like you have it's just a time thing more than anything? I'll leave it up to you, Asher. Is it a time thing, or do you want to roll for how successful it is? I'll leave that up to you since it's something very important.
So, with this,
I won't make it fail.
To see how successful it winds up being.
Okay. I can give it some extra bonuses if you roll really high on it. Since you did spend a decent amount of money on it, I do want it to be legitimately something that if you roll high enough, you do actually add like kind of like a blacksmith's mark to it, essentially. You know what I mean? And add a little bit of extra to it.
Well, first off, he is going to be utilizing, his defrag refrag to basically rearrange the data of them while keeping a lot of it intact. But, well, basically, Jace is getting a bionic arm, or robotic arm, whatever the term is.
Cyborg, too, as well.
What's the term for them in Brotherhood or Full Metal Alchemist?
Full Metal.
No.
Automail.
Automail. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. I was just more like Full Metal Alchemist, and then in a Thinking Toad and trailed off.
Yeah,
I was just like, wait, I haven't watched that in years. What the hell is it?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a mind, expertise, technology roll on it. And I'll even say, since Haboku is helping you, however Haboku you think you can help, I would say you can add in on this, since you're at least providing, even if it's physical assistance as well.
Well, going off the default rules, I can add 1 for teamwork.
Okay. And because I say you spent all the supplies and everything, I'll even lower the difficulty by 1, because you did properly buy quality materials from the shops. You're not MacGyvering it.
Asher, I've got a really important question about how you're doing this.
Oh?
Are you doing this Full Metal Alchemist style?
They're breaking down the elements into data and then using the data to
No, for
create.
anybody that's watched the show, they have to reattach the nerves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you better give Jace something to bite on too.
Well, it would be at that time Haboku remembers the bread basket.
You hear a small ding sound as it's like an oven ding, kind of like an oven timer ding. And as out of like you're kind of looking around, you have no idea what just dinged. But as you kind of have a fresh smell in the air, 4 different loaves of bread seem to be peeking out of a basket somewhere over in the side of the room.
Oh, yeah, that, they gave that to me yesterday. It's for you, Jace. They said not to look at it, but if you don't look at it enough, it gives bread. You can
Oh,
tell Haboku is failing very hard to remember what exactly was told.
weird magic stuff happens when you look away. Got it. Gives you a single thumbs up.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to learn sign language. Think I could get away with abbreviations?
I'd say the
Let's
joke is right over Haboku's head in character.
I will say, we have 2 wonderful loaves of rye, and then 1 French loaf, and 1 even just huge extra long French loaf as well. Like you have a short mini French loaf, and then you have just like a huge French loaf.
Yeah, sure. What are you doing?
Just bite on that and don't worry about it.
That moment when you're a kid, it tells you not to worry about it.
Hey, at least you could finally have a rye smile.
Pretty much, Raijin.
I would try to hit you, but there'd be no arm done.
I couldn't resist the vibe.
On second thought, don't bite on that. Have fun.
Fine, Asher, you win. Puts his arm up. I surrender.
I surrender!
Okay.
Now, seriously, what are you doing? You didn't run around town, did you? I could have waited.
I did.
Argue about this later. You're gonna do this no matter if I do or I agree or not, aren't you?
Yep.
This is gonna hurt like hell, isn't it?
Definitely. But you also made me hurt with all the puns, so... Maha!
Fine, then I get one more.
Deal.
You see, normally somebody like me would be 1 foot in the grave. I'm just 1 arm down. All right, I'm done. Puts wood in mouth.
And he's starting it.
Is that even a pun? I think that's just a joke.
They all can't all be punny. Some of them are jokes.
So,
It is a joke, but a miserable pile of puns.
as for this, Asher has 2 in craft, 3 dots in medicine, and 3 dots in technology. I definitely think he can pull this off.
Yeah, and you have 1 die from Haboku, and also you do have 1 lower difficulty for having quality materials.
Did I just combine all those skills into one?
As if you're not gonna add like the body and expertise, then yes, I can say that. This is very, very specialized in this situation. Let's see how well we got. It could be...
Would my medicine specialty count?
Yes, it does, actually. Yes, this is 100% in that category. Reattaching limbs is very much on medicine specialty. This is a permanent part of a character. I want it to be well as well.
Well, it would be one more die going with just the skills.
Yep.
Still only 9 dice, but, you know.
Difficulty 6, so... Oh, jeez.
Oh, nice.
And the dice have spoken!
God damn.
Except for those ones.
Okay. And
But-
in there.
Huh?
That is still a god dang lot.
Oh, I forgot to add in a die from the die from Haboku. Oops.
Yeah, go for it.
Uh,
I definitely don't think you're going to be re-rolling all those dice, so...
yeah, no willpower, but I do have 2 boost dice I can use. So I can get rid of 2 of those ones.
So up to 10, and then let's see what Haboku got you. $10 and 12. Okay. For the purposes of this, because this is so special and more permanent, I will have to look through the actual weapon system, but we will add something really nice. I don't want to just gloss it over, but I will say that is as critical success as it can get. So I want to spend some time to think about some really nice stuff with it. But for the purposes of right now, just consider it as successful as you could possibly get with it. And then I'll work with Jace and figure out what it more looks like mechanically.
Okay. To note, part of why he wanted springs was he did want to include a shield attachment, or basically a built-in shield that he could use a spring to pop out into a full-size shield, on the forearm. And the sword is also spring-loaded that he can withdraw and put out as he needs.
Okay, and it will have, since it is a mixture of the metal, it can also have, I don't know if we can make a single, I don't know, do weapons have resistance types? I don't think they have durability, so I don't think they can have specific types.
They do have durability.
They do.
Okay, so they can have, can weapons have specific, typings, like resistances and weaknesses to typings?
Yeah, if they're
yes.
the proper tier, yes, they can be aspected.
Okay, that's what I was saying, because I would definitely want, I think metal aspected would also be definitely an either electric and metal aspected of this, but I can also work with the mechanics more a little bit later. But I do have the shield attachment and the sword spring-loaded attachment as well. And you may describe anything else you'd like with it.
Those were the only 2 special things. Otherwise, fully functional arm, similar to his former arm in shape and function and everything.
Okay, so the 3 claws?
Yeah.
I think...
Hey, Zerda, what am I rolling to stay conscious through this, by the way?
That's what I was about to say. Roll your defrag, refrag damage dice, Asher.
Okay.
And make it a critical.
Make it a crit?
Yes.
And we're going with the
You did
full action
technically crit
version.
this.
That's a lot of 10s. Well, several true combos.
Would you like to soul any of those once?
I'm out of boost.
Jace, that would be special attack on, or that'd be essentially special damage on you, however much that's reduced by?
Special and astral.
I won't consider it I won't consider the typing because it's more of a physical thing. Only because I know they were like 4 times weak to you. So I'll just
No,
say
only
it's
one
less-
time. So
Only one time. I would say it's more of a physical pain than it is like the actual thing itself. So I'll say there's no, you don't have to consider weaknesses or resistances in this case. But yes, that is 10.
it's okay. I'm at 1 HP, and even if I wasn't, I was just gonna say no. I'm at 1 HP because I can do that.
Ouch, ouch.
I love how this did more damage to him than the arm being removed in the first place.
Excellent.
My arm ripping itself off, nothing. Putting an arm back on, oof, duh.
I mean, that makes at least some amount of sense, though.
It would,
Yeah.
it would have
I mean,
been
if we're going by
painless.
anime lore here,
It would've
yes.
So you were missing half of your arm, which also included half of your nerve endings as well. So
Oh, I
We
assumed
are-
it went all the way up to his shoulder.
yeah,
It does.
So yeah, the entire
Hey.
arm.
Yep.
No, the main point is that if this is true to anime lore, he's reattaching the nerves. Do you know what really hurts apparently in the anime?
Yes.
He's
That.
attaching nerves. Folger, you witnessed this. What does Folger witness, Chase?
No, he
Oh,
doesn't.
poor
He's,
No, he doesn't.
He's in
he's covering Rhiv.
No,
Haboku be there.
No, Folger said they were peeking in on the room.
Oh, they peeked in. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they said they
Okay.
were peeking in on the room.
Oops.
Describe to Folger what happens to you, Chase.
I get to describe this.
Yes.
I'm assuming Asher is currently hunched over to me, then probably doing sort of technical stuff while Jace basically chews through probably the second or third piece of wood that's jammed in his mouth.
Oh no, the hunched over part is after he's done attaching it all. And after the, nerves and such, because that he just stands back and, does it from afar.
Yeah, still ouch.
Haboku's just holding the basket of bread head with a sad puppy eyes. His expression.
Raijin's comment. Asher when removing the arm to save his father. Careful, gentle. Asher when reattaching an arm to stop the puns. This will hurt you more than it hurts me.
See, the thing is that, hey, Asher, thanks for going out on a limb for me.
And then you start screaming.
Hello, Raijin. Thank you, Raijin. Unconscious.
You see what looks to be almost, it is a spectacle of both beauty and as well as just everything, but also just, it's one of those like beautiful disgust at the same time of just like all of this happening at the same time. And then you see Jace just completely pass out from all of the just intensity of it as you see them kind of almost, you hear a loud crack of wood that seems to snap in their muzzle. You even see like a little bit of stuff like splitting from their muzzle as they kind of begin to just completely knock out as you're just watching all of this, Volker.
Maybe I should have waited. As he just says to himself quietly. With like this his stunned look. Like the anime look where it's just the eyes wide and just white.
Yeah. Sad tear coming down from Volker's face.
Causing trauma one child at a time.
No.
But
I will say, you basically were able to make this arm without having to use any other Digimon's data, only the pure stuff from nature itself. So this is about as pure as it's ever going to get for this arm itself. And with all the right materials, too. But with that, Ashley, you have successfully, your father has been passed out. Your arm looks to be successfully done. What do you do now?
So, Jace passed out? Yes? No?
Seems like I did.
Great. He's pulling out some smelling salts.
Oh, dear goodness. You're gonna wake him up right away?
Yep. He is evil.
You start to come to, Jay. Says it feels like 1,000 ice pricks are certainly being relit all at the same time. It's like that feeling of like your arm falling asleep and then waking up, but it's every single nerve ending in the entire arm.
Alright. This is like the 5th suckiest thing I've been through. Hello?
Okay, so I need you to raise the arm.
Ow?
It feels like liquid molten metal every single move you make. It is like you are trying to fish for a copper coin at the bottom of a molten barrel of tin.
Yeah, ow. 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 Is it moving? I can't tell.
Is it moving?
It is moving,
Okay.
but it is shaking in the process. Like, you're not sure if it's shaking from being unusable, but it seems to be shaking from just like almost like the entire arm is almost vibrating in a sense. And you can tell it's probably from like the shakiness of pain and nerves all being fired off at the same time. Kind of like how you kick a knee and it goes up in the air. It's kind of one of those situations. It's functional, but it is just in shock at the moment.
Okay. And make a fist.
Tries to make a fist.
You try to make a fist. It's like you have essentially been handed a hot potato with a blacksmith's steel ball, as they've handed you this right from the fire forge itself, asking you to hold on to it as if it is the only thing keeping you in place.
I think this is correct.
Did he make a
They
fist?
form a fist.
Good, good. And now you just need to think about Thord?
Sticks up a finger. The middle one. Like that?
No, that's not it. But I could go in and adjust it and make it work that way if you want. It would cause more pain.
No, move the middle finger so his sword can come out of it.
I will think sword.
As you try to think sword, it is essentially, it's not innate at first, with the connection still being fresh. It seems like it seems like something. It's very unusual. It takes a second, and kind of Asher, as they're kind of looking around it, it does take a second. But as you kind of think, you don't really know what kind of sword you're thinking about. You don't really know how long the sword is. You don't know what propulsion mechanism it is. So you kind of just try to go around. Give me a percentile die. Okay. After a few bits, you don't really know what is there, but it's almost like it is essentially kind of like a phantom limb in a sense, but it's that feeling of a new limb. But as you kind of are thinking about it, you do eventually pop it out. Almost everyone's kind of waiting in this bated breath. But after a moment, you do pop out the sword itself, as it seems to extend almost in a very spring-loaded way. And it is drawn within, I mean, less than half a second. It springs fully and locks in place.
How?
I made some upgrades.
I see that. This couldn't wait until after healing?
I mean, it could have, but you had to get that one last pun in.
I guess this is my a single tear rolls down his cheek. Punishment.
I mean, really, I feel like this should have like been seen coming from a mile away.
Indeed.
Now think Thief.
Think what?
Thief.
Cease.
Thief.
Sheath.
Yeah, that.
Ow, 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 ow. Go away, sword. Go away, sword. Go back in the hole.
Give me another percentile die. You tried to like think sheath, and then you think seize, and then you think like, and you try to think all these things. It doesn't really like it should be able. It came out, so it should be able to go back in, but at the moment it just doesn't seem to be wanting to be sheathing.
Sheathing, more
Doesn't
like
seem to want to die.
sheathing, more
Back
like
into your
teething
arm.
pains.
Please don't put teeth near my sheath.
But Jace, you do see Astro as you do see him try to get it to essentially sheath. At the moment, you know how it functions, you know how it's supposed to function, but he just doesn't seem to be really able to grasp how to sheath at the moment.
Well, that does make sense. You were never very good at putting it away.
I wasn't that bad when you were growing up.
Uh-huh. Alright, well, on to the next test. Think, sealed.
Oh, goodness, this is gonna hurt like hell's net.
Hopefully. Wait, I'm not supposed to say that. Probably
Love you
not.
too, buddy.
You try to think shield, but it's like you still have the sword like out. So like you're trying to like you in your head think that you probably should need to sheath the sword before you pull out the shield. So you're trying to like have these two things happen at the same time. And like the mechanisms are there, but you just need a little bit more training in order to actually get them to use. You're not sure if it's the nerve pain that's kind of fogging up your vision or the tiredness, but the shield just doesn't. You're not really too sure the mechanics enough to just do it innately.
No, buddy, I think this is gonna have to wait.
Fine. Well then, hurry up and rest up. We gotta get going.
Also,
Yeah.
Forgo, give me a lore check.
What check?
Guys.
He said
Lore.
more.
Oh, mind, lore, expertise. Two. As you kind of.
I'm
like
gonna
to score
soul
anything?
I'm gonna soul the one
Okay. Okay.
and 3 logic.
Okay. As you were essentially looking over the arm and everything, kind of the stuff that you've done, that Asher did, you do recognize how you've seen cyborg style stuff and maybe some of the ruins that you've explored in. There's been texts of essentially mixing essentially Digimon with various instruments, essentially to enhance their own capabilities. You're not really too sure if you've come across something quite like this, but especially in exploration, you have come across things where people are trying to enhance their own native abilities through external, essentially, applications.
He's just gonna continue watching until Jace is free.
It does fascinate you, though. I will say that. It is definitely a fascination.
Fascinating. And horrifying.
Asher's going to be packing up his stuff and heading out into the hallway, being sure to loudly proclaim, "All right, his arm is fixed!" and slamming the door shut behind him loud.
Jace just groans.
Would you like to
Fulgur,
slip in? Yeah, what would you like to
Ye-
do, Fulgur? Slip in the room or out of the room?
He would like to slip into the room before Asher literally slams the door.
Yeah,
There is now. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say when Kotora hears that, because it's loud enough,
Yeah.
that Kota would be able to hear it from the other side of his room. He would just smile to himself and just say, "Ah, so I guessed it correctly." I had a feeling it had something to do with that once we realized that it wasn't that he wasn't going to out of town.
The Asher retrieval lock.
Alright, Haboku, we've got a job to go do.
Okay. Haboku will, assuming he hadn't actually he placed the bread down by Jace, we'll go do that, then follow Asher.
Fulgur, you are also witnessing this as well. Asher, as you do see Fulgur kind of standing in the corner, kind of next to Jace's bed a little bit, but not too much in the way of anything.
Were you talking to me? Sorry.
Oh no, I'm just saying Fulgur's kind of standing over by Jace a little bit.
Oh.
Cracks an eye, looks over. When did you get in here?
Now?
Oh, hi.
So you did do that.
Oh, yeah. Long story.
Then he's gonna look at the arm.
Yeah, leave it to my kid to not be patient and just go for gold right away. Yay. If I'm not up walking tomorrow, he'll yell at me. He expects me to be able to just bounce back, but I'm getting old. Don't get old, buddy. You stay young forever.
No, I've seen things in runes like these.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Rune's got all sorts of weird stuff. Weird things. That's why I don't go in them, because they're full of weird things. You might want to
They're
be
fun.
quick. I got a different definition of fun.
Well, you have to be really careful. But Fulgur's then gonna hand Jace the note, and with it, the same orange bracelet from before.
What is this?
Does Jace start reading the note?
I don't think he can see straight right now.
Oh boy.
I mean, he's probably still drunk from the battle earlier as well.
I'll read this later. What's going on?
So Zerda, did Fulgur like see them leave?
I'm gonna say at least, unless Asher plans on leaving like in the next second, I would say if Asher you want to do some packing with Haboku while you are kind of like saying stuff, And then Jason, Fulgur, you were talking to each other while Asher and Haboku seem to be gathering some things. Unless you plan on going without anything.
Asher will probably be down in the common room for a little bit, getting some food finally.
Okay, I'll say they're down there, and
I'll be back in a
Okay.
minute.
yep. Haboku, you can eat some dinner down there. I'll give some Jason Fulgur a little bit more privacy right now, while you can kind of follow Asher.
All right. Good. Likely be eating.
Mm-hmm. So you're alone with Jace Fulgur.
Okay. Well,
It's too bad Kotora can't cook at the moment. He's exhausted himself.
Koto's passed out.
it's not an immediate thing, but would be nice. Would be probably a good idea for you to read that at some point.
All right, 2 questions while I'm still conscious. Are you planning on leaving?
No. That's
Okay.
mainly something I got an idea for.
Okay. That's one question. I just want to make sure you're not running off, because if you're running off, I have to get up. And if I have to get up right now, I'm going to be tasting Floor. And Floor-kun is not a tasty fella. Not at all. Usually tastes like dirt.
Floor-kun? He tilts his head.
I should not have added so much nutmeg to that drink. I think it's actually kicking. Question 2. Is this note something that you can't just tell me? Like it's secret?
Oh, like, he looks anxious.
I've got a kid. There's nothing that you can say that would surprise me.
Mainly a note on how to and an idea on how he looks like he's like anxious and struggling to find the words.
Pats Fulgur on the head, realizes moving that arm is a mistake, stops patting Fulgur on the head. I'll read it later.
You also have your sword still out, by the way, on that arm. You still have not yet to sheath that sword.
Oh, okay. Well, you rest up. And Volker's gonna head out of the room and look to see if the downstairs is really busy, because he probably hasn't had a lot to eat.
What do
You
you
would
mean?
go down. He only had the tater tots, and that was it. You would make your way downstairs. You would see Asher and Haboku at a table eating. It's not quite that time. You would know it's probably not going to get busy for another 3 or 4 hours. Mostly whenever that nighttime kind of hits, whenever people start having that dinner and sleep. But you would notice that there was a decent enough. I would say they're at about 60% capacity right now.
He's gonna find a spot that doesn't have a lot of people in the vicinity.
Yeah, I would say if you want, you can have one of the bar spots at the end of the bar, where it's more kind of isolated in the corner, where there's kind of everyone and everything is facing away from you.
Just gonna wait for the Boonry, I believe her name is, to
Yeah.
come by.
After it takes about 5 minutes or so for them to really make 4 rounds, but mostly because they were in the kitchen for a good portion of that. But they would eventually come by. Oh, hello there. I think your name was Fulgur now, right?
Yeah?
Aren't you just the sweetest little thing? What can I get you?
Do you carry stuff from The snow region?
Kind of things. Well, normally I try to convince you that I have the best ice stuff in town, but seeing as I like you and everything, I would have to make a trip over to one of the ice places. So, and she kind of gestures towards the north wall. That would actually be, honestly, the person who does the best ice stuff's actually just the other innkeeper, just a little ways north. She
back,
actually just
sorry.
got her memories back too. But she would basically be able to have anything. If you're comfortable with ice, she's definitely the one you would want to talk to. I could go fetch you something.
Well, nothing complicated. Do you have, Digi snowberries?
I will go over there. And she kind of yells to husband. She kind of yells, Yona, you watch these other lads in here. I want to go get a special little berry treat for our little friend here. They deserve something nice from their homeland. And she kind of gives you a small wink. I'll be right back. Is there anything else you like over there? Any alcohols or spirits?
Just water.
I'll get you the chilliest water in the world. And she'll say as she kind of pats the table in front of you, I'll
Oh,
make
so
sure to
she's
make it
gonna-
on the house.
So she's gonna give him a block of ice?
Essentially, you'll see her head out back. Anyone else would know that she's essentially going to the ice on the rocks, just a few bits north to go speak to Coda to get something for you there. So she's going to be gone just a little bit of a time. Meanwhile, Astra and Haboku, you guys are now downstairs eating your fill of food.
Alright, so, Haboku. I have
Ye?
gotten a request for help. And we need to respond.
Ooh, who needs help?
Somebody in a forest nearby.
How far? That here?
About how far would it be, Zerda?
I would say on foot, it would probably be 2 days travel to get all the way to the middle of where the forest would be. At least in terms, they did give you a pinpoint location of where they currently are, but it'd be 1 day travel to kind of get to the forest, and then because the forest is obviously so dense, you'd imagine that it would be another day's travel to kind of get to the specific location, GPS location essentially of where they were coordinate-wise.
And how long is it to get back to the main city?
It is only 1 day to get back to the main city.
In relation to where we are, would we have to go through the city, or is it a different
It's
direction,
north.
or?
The forest is northwest. If you were to stop by the main city, it wouldn't actually add any more travel. It wouldn't actually add any extra days to your travel, other than the time it would take you to get to the main city. It wouldn't be more than just a single stop. It's not that exactly that it's on the way, but because of the way it's so north and west, you wouldn't really be having to go too far out. So 2
Okay.
days from the city or 2 days from where you are.
I'm just imagining he pulled out his Valve dock and is looking at the map and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually looking at it, it looks like we'll probably be wanting to go back to the city first. And then we'll head out right away. So I guess we'll wait for everybody else to go back to the city. But we'll head out tomorrow.
Okay. Weren't we going with everyone? Didn't we have to take the... Haboku was just gonna glance around for the flamon.
They're just serving drinks at the bar.
Oh yes, we're taking the criminal with us. We'll take him off to the city, drop him off, and then we'll head out right away to go deal with this distress call.
Alright then. Haboku gives his resolute stance.
Excellent. For now, we gotta rest up, so we're ready for the traveling, because it's gonna be a lot of traveling.
Okay. A lot of traveling.
And
Quick
go ahead,
question
Haboku.
on character. That was sorry, my thoughts got scattered a bit sleepy. Um, just for reiteration, and it is northwest est.
Yeah, northwest of the town.
Okay.
Of the main city. And Asher will show Haboku the map and stuff. We don't know what dangers we'll see there, but I'm sure we can take them.
Yeah. And Haboku will briefly reach into his cloak and pull out his new handy dandy bite hold dagger.
We should actually probably get you some training for that. Maybe we can find somebody here to help you learn.
Haboku will look down and nod.
Yeah, we could go do that tonight. And then we rest, and then we head out.
All right. Can do.
And by this time, I would say Boonu would come back with the berries, and you come back with the berries, Folger. They would give you the water as well as the snowberries, and you don't even need to roll a memory check. This is your territory. This is your biome. This is your home in terms of where these are grown and what this is. And you can tell that this is essentially melted ice from the actual snow or the ice biome itself, as well as berries that are specifically grown. Oddly enough, they are actually grown underneath ice to keep them more. It's kind of like a permanent cooling effect on the ice berries, but actually it lets them constantly remain cool. It's essentially a chilling bite, like a fresh bite of spearmint with every single bite.
Gonna happily start eating them.
There you go now, little buddy. You go ahead and eat those up. They'll give you a nice, good amount of energy for what you got planned ahead.
Thank you.
As you look over, as you're kind of like taking drinks of your water, you notice some little ripples in your water glass as everyone in the tavern actually begins to feel almost like a rumbling sensation. Like it's kind of like a very faint, almost like a miniature earthquake in a second. It's not something that you're familiar with, but as you're all kind of like looking around, you kind of feel like something very, very, very brash is coming.
Well, Olger is definitely on alert because when he was exploring any like earthquakes in the ice area, oh boy. Not a good sign.
Pastor Naboka, you would also feel the rumblings.
Haboku's those ears will perk up under its head at that, and he starts looking around, wondering if he's starting to, if something else is bad going to happen.
Well, I was expecting us to finally have a nice, quieter evening, but, well...
And then a loud horn blows loud enough to be heard over everyone in the tavern. But everyone else in the tavern seems to be cheering. And you see Burnry and as well as the Flamon look very, very excited. As you see a few of them rush out as they say, "Oh, good, good, it looks like it got fixed finally." As you essentially hear a bunch of commotion coming from outside. And would any of you go outside or do you stay inside?
Haboku will be trying to see. Yeah.
Go ahead.
What you doing, Haboku?
Well, more or less, he'd be trying to look past the crowd. I reckon if there's a lot of them, he'd probably have a bit of trouble.
As you would, you see that people seem to be running in between the two taverns as they're making their way to the east side, essentially the backside of the taverns. And as you would follow, the rumblings of the ground seem to be getting louder and louder, and the horn seems to be getting closer and closer. And in the very, very faint distance, you can see a very rapidly approaching cylindrical object coming from the really far south. As everyone is kind of hit, like everyone seems to be kind of stopped at the edge of kind of where the town is. And as it gets closer and closer, that horn is blaring so loud that it is essentially announcing its arrival. As you all see, as especially you, Haboku, see, a trainmon that seems to be making no tracks, no nothing. It is just going on cold, hard ground as it is making its way to the town, announcing itself in full arrival.
Would Haboku have any idea what this is supposed to mean?
Or Asher, for that matter.
You guys would remember, at least whenever you left the town, you would remember that the cracks in the ground were causing the train system to be down, as it wasn't able to traverse over the gaps in the ground.
Ah.
So, though, I guess that somehow got resolved with the us and the glitch here.
As you see the trainmon essentially get to the, essentially after enough blowing, they make their way upwards to the backsides of all of the taverns, and you see them kind of stop at the edge of the taverns as they yell out. It's almost in this just huge billowing voice. It is a laughter that is so deep. It is like that train's whistle of laughter as they say, as you kind of see them say,
Sorry
please,
about
I think
that.
we lost him for a moment.
Hit a wrong button.
oh, I saw everyone get absent from the server.
Yeah,
So you see
sorry
the
about
train.
that.
You're
All
good.
good.
So you see the train one almost with this yelling, laughing bellow. It says, "Ho ho ho! Welcome back to the train service. Happy to take people's money and bet them back to town. Let's get
Can
this."
barely hear you.
Oh, they say, "Let's get this tourist town back in business." As you see it just almost belling out in laughter. And they kind of say, "It looks like thanks to some various people letting us know about certain underground dairy wells, at least for right now, we're able to return services to training all the way up and down. May you take my cabooses back to town and here, and I will be happy to take and travel for all. Services to the train are back open once again." You see a few
So
people,
basically,
like,
because we
waving.
warned Kinzo, they were able to fix something else, and now the train's back.
But now, at least, it seems the train seems to be back in order. can't imagine that the entire thing is fixed, but it seems like they were able to, just from pure guess, and you guess that they were at least able to repair the crevices that were enough to actually get it going back up again. You would have to get more information in town to see how resolved it is.
By the way, weren't there more people that Asher needed to heal?
I think when the night of the festival, I think you would have basically gotten everyone. I don't think I had anyone else.
There is
The only
one,
one of the
there is one person that we kind of missed, the Palmon, because
yeah, the
we never
Palmon
met her.
was the Palmon was the only one I would say. They would have been wheeled into town.
Okay, so we'll just hand wave that he fixed them. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they were part of the investigation portion, but you've already gotten that. We'll say that's already been resolved. But yeah, you would see that the Trainmon essentially, as they announced their travel, they mentioned that thanks to the glory of the data anomaly hunters and the town of Kenzo, they have managed to repair the crevices enough to be able to travel here and fro without freighter trouble.
Asher's gonna go ahead and move up. So, when do you leave for Kinzo?
You say, well, with my great engines, I can travel back and forth to town 6 times a day.
Well, that's all well and good, but when do you leave next?
Guy thinks, well, my schedules are every single 4th of the hour for the first waking hour, or for the waking hours of the day. So essentially, it'd be like 8, 12, 4, 8, and then 12 again. I think that might be 5. However many that is. 8, 12, 4,
But when is the next
8,
one?
12, 5. That would be... He would say that he would actually be ready to take people back to town, probably within the next 30 minutes, and then the next one would be 4 hours and 30 minutes from now.
Perfect. Asher is heading back into the inn, rushing upstairs. Alright, pack up, everybody!
Just Rhiv and Kotora, just
moment-
taking the short rest.
I'm just imagining that Riv's like asleep, probably.
The moment Asher comes and yells loudly to come pack up, Kotora is going to throw a pillow at him.
Well, that's...
Shut
Was
up!
your door open?
I mean, if you're not going into if you go into the room and yell that, he will do that
You see them not
because
coming over.
because Kotora and Rhiv are not coming out of the room.
The train's here to take us back! Let's go! And he's going into the room with Jace. And working to make sure Jace's stuff is packed up.
What are you doing, bud?
Oh, the train's here!
And it comes back how often?
I forget what he said, but it leaves in a half hour, so let's go!
You know what you're looking like right now?
The son that you
marketable
love,
flush.
that I worked so hard to give you your arm back and free you from the curse before?
Exactly. Now come here. Come here.
He will cautiously go over.
Snatched up and dad hug, rolls over, goes to sleep on top of son.
No! We gotta go! Frantic squirming and shouting. We gotta go, 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 gotta go.
Like Jace isn't used to this.
Haboku is still outside.
He did kind of get left outside. You're more than free to talk to the Trainmon as they're talking and bellowing out their joyous of pleasure of being able to ride once again. They bellow the woes of having to be untransportive and unsupported, and just the woes of the world not catering to their only limited mobile needs. But then they bellow happiness as they talk about how there is no longer need to freight anymore. And they make a bunch of more train puns.
Volker is
Oh,
just,
that's a pun and not you just mispronouncing fret. Okay.
No. I'm afraid not.
Oh my god.
I
But
can't
yeah.
resist train puns. They just keep on going.
Volker is just looking out, while still having the bowl of snowberries.
Well, Jace saved you from Kotora throwing a pillow on you.
By making him my pillow.
I will say, if you can also have a everyone can get a 1 hour short rest if you think you can hold on to Asher for an hour.
Holding on to Asher is not the issue. I think the issue is whether or not Jace is going to get back up for the rest of the day. Sorry, Asher.
Asher is trying to get free. And he will drag Jace by the tail if he has to get on that train.
You can definitely make competing athletic or athletic/acrobatics checks. Was it wrong?
Nope, it's athletics or acrobatics.
Yep, acrobatics. Not bad, actually.
Soling 1. Vigor pushing.
Ooh.
I don't really have
Perfectly
anything
balanced.
left to keep going.
You have been snugly held probably for the next 3 hours at least.
I mean, that's a 9 successes, so I mean, or 10,
10.
because you sold the original one.
Yeah.
Give me a percentile dice, Jace. $70. I'll say you were able to retract your sword. I'll say if you want, you can also try popping your shield and then using that really close to your body to keep Asher even more held tight by trapping them within their own shield they gave you.
That's just rude.
Must protect son shield. Not even realizing.
That's adorable.
But I will say, I don't think Asher's gonna get out of this one, but I will say, I think we actually got to a really good point here. Because we actually have a train that can go back to town when everyone isn't dead. So I think we're any last minute comments, but I think we are probably gonna wrap up here a little bit, Asher, as it is getting that 12.
Wow, Asher sounded like he was in a hurry, but he's taking a while to get back.
Haboku, as you kind of keep talking.
Sorry, everybody needed a short rest, dang it.
Thank
You
you.
eventually you stand there for the whole 30 minutes of Boku talking with the train, but eventually they say, "And I'm sorry for the conversation break, but I'll be back here in 4 hours. Let any of your friends know I'll be happy to take them back to town. 4 hours, all it takes for someone like me. These wheels have been greased, my caboose has been wiped, and all things are now cleared for takeoff." As you see, as he bellows that horn, Asher, from underneath the shield, you hear that loud horn bellow outside the window, as it begins to fade into the distance. And then the train just gets quieter and quieter.
Okay,
Haboku, you make
Okay,
What?
how actually loud did Asher did that?
I'm pretty
Top
sure
of
he
his
just flat out
lungs.
howled.
Yeah.
Huh?
Top of his lungs.
Okay, so yeah, Kotora is getting up of the location he's in. He is taking a pillow. He's leaving his room, going into Jace's room, and he's throwing a pillow towards the direction of the two of you, and he's just yelling, "Quiet!"
No!
Puts pillow over his face.
And then Haboku, you make your way back inside.
Yeah.
Haboku will just give an innocent wave towards the train as it leaves. We're just chipperly walking back inside.
You see Jace and Asher in your room being completely smothered, and everyone else seems to be at peace.
I'll make sure Asher can breathe. It's okay.
Asher will have his revenge. But thank you all so much for joining us today for Data Anomaly Hunter's Scar. Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We got links to our Discord, Telegram, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Patreon, and more. There on the website as well as down in the description below through our link tree. Thank you to my patrons, tippers, and subscribers. It is your support that keeps this channel alive and going. I cannot do this without your guys' help and your support, so thank you. Consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. It's one of the best ways to support the channel, though you can also do so by sharing the stream around, as well as coming by, hanging out, grabbing packs of cards to stream loots, using our Humble Bundle partner link, or picking up some merch over at zgfgaming.store. But for now, thank you so much for joining, and I bid you all the most fondest adieu.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Later, everyone.
Bye bye.